Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. And first things first, guys, I actually like to say, man, I love bodybuilding and I love being a YouTuber, man. This is what it's all about. I get to cover the 2014 Mr. Olympia, man. This is amazing, man. And as you guys know, we will be revisiting the 2014 Mr. Olympia today. But if you would like to support me or the channel in any way, you can do so by dropping a like and dropping a sub. You can drop a comment as the video continues with a couple of opinions or how you feel on this competition now. As you guys seen in the thumbnail, as you guys know, Heath won his third Sandow this year. Kai Green placed in second. Big Ramy actually placed seventh. And Sean Roden looked incredible in his lineup. Potentially he was robbed, but today we're going to take a closer look at the 2014 Mr. Olympia. And I also have the second call out, which includes Dexter Jackson, Big Ramy, Brandon Curry, and a bunch of other very amazing bodybuilder guys. But let's go ahead and get into the video, starting with the top four comparison. So taking a look from left to right, you guys should know this, but we have Kai Green, Dennis Wolfe, Sean Roden, and Phil Heath. Immediately, my eyes go to Phil Heath, but Phil looks a little narrow in his pose. His midsection isn't as bad as it was later on in his career, but his quads are amazing. Next, my eyes will go to Kai Green, kind of because of the way he's hitting his pose, but honestly, a lot of these pictures are tilted, and this isn't the best quality of pictures for Mr. Olympia. The pictures that I got from the NPC were tilted for some reason, and it's honestly not doing these athletes any justice. But Dennis Wolfe, for some reason, it seems like he doesn't fit in his top four, and it's not a knock on him, but it just seems like the other three guys are way ahead, not way ahead of him, but I think it's obvious that Dennis Wolfe is last in this pose, in my opinion. So Sean Roden looks great though, man, but I would probably go with Phil Heath overall in his front double bicep pose. Taking a look at the front leg spread immediately, Phil Heath and Sean Roden, in all honesty. Kai Green looks good, but as you guys can see, his midsection looks like it's protruding a little bit. Dennis Wolfe, man, something is off about him. I don't know if his waist is wide or if his shoulders are narrow. You guys let me know in the comment section below, but I'm pretty sure that it's one of those two. This like is between Sean Roden and Phil Heath, man. And Sean Roden has the width that Phil Heath doesn't have. But honestly, other than the width, man, Phil Heath looks good in his pose. I mean, his abs do look a little washed out. But honestly, I believe Phil Heath's facial expression and a lot of his poses make them not look as good. Like, Phil just looks like he's struggling in his pose. But honestly, if you just look at the physique, man, outside of the abs, and I don't think his midsection is distended. I think that overall it just isn't a good pose for Phil Heath. So I would definitely have Phil Heath winning this pose and probably Sean Roden in second, followed up by Kai Green and Dennis Wolfe. And going to the side chest, Phil Heath, no competition. Kai Green would be second, but I don't like his execution of this, and you can kind of see his midsection protruding. Like, it looks like Kai has his glutes sticked out and it's kind of bending over a little bit, in all honesty. Dennis Wolfe is falling behind to me, and it actually like he has pretty small arms in his side chest. Sean Roden in third place, and as you guys know, later in Sean's career, he came with a different execution of the side tricep, holding his right arm more outward, and I feel like there was a better execution. Even though he's hitting it kind of the conventional way here, he ended up finding a more conventional way that worked for him. But Phil Heath is winning his pose by a long shot, in my opinion. And on to the back shots. Phil Heath. End of discussion. You guys can argue Kai Green if you want to, but Phil Heath, end of discussion, honestly. Kai Green second, Dennis Wolfe third. And Dennis Wolfe would be taking second. Dennis Wolfe could honestly win this pose if he had striated glutes. He could possibly be Phil Heath because he is wider. Like I said earlier, guys, the lighting from this show and the pictures aren't that good, but you guys know Phil Heath. This is 2014. You guys know Phil Heath's glutes and hamstrings are completely diced. And I just know that Kai doesn't have that same level. However, Kai does have a very dense and pretty back. He has a lot going on. He has a lot of muscles, but he loses to Phil Heath in the lower half. But man, if Phil was just a wider bodybuilder, man, he's so narrow. If Phil was just wider, bro, he might. I'm not going to say he may have won more Olympias because that wasn't necessarily his main knock. It ended up being his midsection. But Phil is just so narrow as a bodybuilder. And his genetics, man, if he had wider clavicles, oh my God. And on to the rear lat spread. Dennis Wolfe, oh my God, his back is wide. He looks amazing. Sean Roden, Sean Roden actually looks pretty good. Phil Heath, detail, man, amazing. Kai looks like he may not be all the way into this pose, and I also don't like his execution of this pose. In all honesty, I like Sean Roden, man, but I think I'm gonna go with Phil Heath. When I was putting this together, I like Sean Roden in a lot of these poses. That's why I put Rob maybe on the thumbnail. But now taking a closer look, Sean stands out. But once I look at Phil, Phil just has so much detail in every pose is insane. So I'll probably take Phil Heath, then Sean Roden. And it's kind of unfair to Kai because the way he's hitting his pose now, I would have him in fourth and Dennis Wolfe in third. But I'm gonna put Dennis Wolfe in fourth and I'm gonna put Kai Green in third just because I know that his lower half is more conditioned. And taking a look at the side tricep pose, Phil Heath, I mean, it's not even an argument. But we do have Kai Green in second here. And Sean Roden or Dennis Wolfe don't have the best triceps, but Dennis Wolfe does seem to have a better lower half than Sean Roden. Uh, you can honestly go either way, guys. Either way, but I guess I give it to Dennis Wolfe. He's been kind of behind in his competition, but Phil Heath, look at the tricep, man. Look at the lower half. Look at the hamstring. Look at the hamstring glutes high end. Look at the smile, man. Phil Heath just knows he's winning this shot, but as I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with me, it's not really too much competition in the side tricep. And on to the ab and thigh shot where Phil isn't gonna shine as well. And of course, this is a Sean Roden pose even back in 2014. Once again, it's not the best camera angle, but I'm pretty sure that Kai Green will be second. Actually, this isn't a bad ab and thigh from Phil Heath, and Phil has a smile on his face, so he probably feels pretty confident about it. Um, I don't know if you guys would kill me for saying I have Phil Heath third in this, and I'm gonna take Dennis Wolfe last, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I have Sean Roden winning this, Kai Green in second, Phil, and then Dennis Wolfe. But honestly, if we had better lighting, Kai Green could possibly beat Sean Roden in this pose, and he potentially was. And taking a look at the most muscular, I don't know what Kai's doing. Like he got pretty low for that crab pose, but this is a Phil Heath pose, of course. Sean Roden just didn't have the delts that he ended up developing later in his career. Dennis Wolfe, it doesn't like he's fully into this pose, but I'm not sure why Dennis doesn't hit the crab where he's all the way crouched over like he used to hit in the days when he was competing against like Ronnie Coleman, man. Because in my opinion, he was beating Ronnie Coleman in some of those crab most musculars, but this is a Phil Heath pose for sure. And taking a look at the second call out and the first call out, of course, Phil Heath pretty much led, followed behind Kai and Roden. Kai and Roden honestly could have been arguable, but like I said, we didn't have the best quality of photos, so Kai may have looked a lot better than Roden. But taking a look at the second call out from left to right, we have Big Ramy, Branch Warren, Dexter Jackson, Victor Martinez, and Dennis Wolfe. And in this pose, Big Ramy looks amazing. Dexter Jackson is peeled, of course, but as I was saying with Big Ramy in seventh place, I would have definitely loved to see Big Ramy next to Dexter Jackson. I know Dexter would have passed him probably because of the conditioning, but Victor looks good as well. But Ramy and Dexter are probably going to be leading the way through this whole second call out. And taking a look at the front lat spread, Dennis Wolfe, Big Ramy. Victor's chest always looks like it kind of flattens out when he hits the front lat spread. Dexter just doesn't have the width, and just overall Dexter just looks kind of small in this pose compared to a lot of the other guys. Being a shorter guy, you're not really gonna have a front lat spread, and Branch may not always be into this pose, but same thing. Being a shorter guy with not the best structure, none of the shorter guys really have a good front lat spread. In all honesty, William Bonac has a pretty good one though. Taking a look at the side chest, I know, guys, I know, but this is the photo that was posted on the website, and these are the photos from the 2014 Mr. Olympia. Horrible angle, I know, but Big Ramy is smoking everybody. I'm not gonna lie. You could put him next to Dexter Jackson, and Dexter may pass him because of conditioning. Dexter looks good. Dennis Wolfe as well. Big Ramy, Dexter Jackson, and Dennis Wolfe are leading the way, and Branch and Victor are kind of falling a little behind in this call out. But this is 2014, so I think Victor was probably on his way out. His peak was in '08 or was that '07 against Jay Cutler. But Big Ramy is definitely leading the way in this side chest, in my opinion. Looks even bigger than he does now. And on to the back shots. Big Ramy doesn't seem to have the conditioning, of course. But then again, these aren't the best quality photos, so we can't necessarily see the glutes. Dexter Jackson and Dennis Wolfe leading the way. Victor Martinez looks pretty good. Can't really see the conditioning in his glutes and hamstrings. But pretty sure that it's gonna be Dexter and Dennis. And I'm not sure why Branch spreads his legs like this. I don't really like the execution of this. Branch definitely deserves to be in this call out, but he's probably falling last. He's probably gonna be falling last in a lot of these shots. But even though Big Ramy isn't conditioned, the best condition, I still think he should edge out a couple of these guys. But thinking back when Heath was the Mr. Olympia, he was the standard for the Mr. Olympia. I think conditioning was emphasized a whole lot more. And you guys actually think about that. I don't think that conditioning is emphasized to the same extent that it was when Heath was around, because the conditioning that Big Ramy brought this year probably would have placed him lower if this was the if you guys get where I'm going. Anyway, on to the backlash spread, man. If Big Ramy is just wide as a house, Dennis Wolfe, Dexter Jackson looks good. Branch Warren as well. I still don't like the way he's spreading his legs. Victor Martinez looks pretty good, but Dennis Wolfe and Big Ramy is leading the way, and looks like Big Ramy's winning in my opinion. Dennis Wolfe may edge him out, but Big Ramy is just wide, man. Let me know in the comment section below. Am I tripping, or does Big Ramy look like he should have edged out a couple more of these guys than what he did? And on to the side tricep. Do I need to say it? Big Ramy, Mom do I else by it. Oh my God, man. Big Ramy looks amazing to me. Dennis Wolfe as well. Granted, he doesn't have the best tricep. This is actually a good pose for Branch Warren. I don't know why he leans so heavily forward when he does this pose. Victor Martinez looks good as well, but just doesn't have the size. I would definitely have liked to see Big Ramy, Dexter Jackson, and Dennis Wolfe in a call out. That would have been a great call out for this 2014 Mr. Olympia, in my opinion. But inside tricep, probably had to go with Big Ramy. But once you put Big Ramy next to Dexter Jackson, Dexter is so conditioned that I know that Ramy wouldn't be able to pass Dexter, but maybe he would have passed Branch in this lineup. And on to the abs and thigh. And this is kind of where Ramy being heavier back in the day affected his physique, I believe. His midsection is thicker here, and his ab and thigh looks a lot better now. But granted, none of these guys really have a great ab and thigh. Victor looks pretty good. He looks like he has a little distension. Dennis Wolfe looks good. Dexter looks great as well, but as you guys know, he has like the little turtle shell. But he does have a crazy V-taper, so probably would be Big Ramy and Dexter leading the way. Dennis Wolfe doesn't have the best V-taper in this pose, but I would have had him ahead of Ramy if he did. And on to the most muscular pose, Big Ramy, Dennis Wolfe. And let's just be honest, guys. This is the last pose for the second call out. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys are still watching. Am I tripping, or did Big Ramy look pretty good in a lot of those shots? Keep in mind, Big Ramy plays 7th. So he did beat out Victor Martinez, but Branch Warren placed ahead of him. And Branch was a lot more conditioned. But do you guys think that Big Ramy should have beat Branch Warren in his lineup? I doubt that he would have beat Dexter Jackson. But in 7th place at the 2014 Mr. Olympia, we had Big Ramy, Mamdou Ayelsbaye. Amazing package that he brought. He just wasn't conditioned enough from behind. And he definitely is on another level now with conditioning. But he doesn't have this same level of freakiness. And honestly, his waist isn't as small as it was back then for some reason. And Ramy right now is around 300 plus pounds. And he's shredded, has striated glutes. I think he's figured out the formula. So you guys know the rest, man. He was 7th place, and up to now, he is our 2-time back-to-back Mr. Olympia. And placing 6th at the 2014 Mr. Olympia was Branch Warren. And I'm not going to knock Branch because, as you guys see, he looked incredible in these poses. But honestly, Branch only looked good in the side poses to me. His most muscular was pretty good, but from the front and just from behind, I didn't really like the execution of his poses. But I'm not really sure how long Branch had been competing around this time, 2014. I'm pretty sure Branch wasn't around for too many more years after this, but Branch just has a crazy, gnarly, nasty physique, man, and he's just going to beat you. So placing, where are we? 5th in his lineup, we had Dexter the Blade Jackson. Conditioning, man, look at the lift. Look at the Christmas tree. Look at the glutes. One of the best side chests all time, even without being one of the bigger guys. And Dexter was honestly able to compete to the age that he was just because he was conditioned. He wasn't as big as these guys, but he always came in sharp. And I mean, you could be 300 pounds of mass, but if you don't bring the conditioning, as you see, you're going to get beat by Oh, little old Dexter, but man, Dexter, a basic physique, man, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. And in fourth place, we had Dennis Wolfe, arguably one of the best showings of his career. I love the pose to the right, very reminiscent of a Dorian Yates. Phil Heath also hits the pose as well. But Dennis Wolfe, man, amazing. But I just feel like he didn't match up as well with those top three guys. He definitely stood out more in the second call out, but once he was compared to like Phil, Roden, and Kai, I just don't believe that he just didn't fit into me. Maybe it was because of his height. I'm not knocking his physique at all. I love Dennis, and this was one of his best packages of all time. And in third place, we had Sean Flexitron Roden, who ended up becoming the 14th Mr. Olympia. And as you guys can see here, his physique ended up developing a lot more. His delts got a lot bigger. As you can see to the most muscular to the right, one of his shoulders actually, they don't look too proportional. His ab and thigh still looks pretty good even back then, but Sean put on even more mass and didn't blow out his midsection. One of the greatest abs and thighs of all time. Probably has some of the best legs of all time as well. So placing third in this lineup, amazing. And you guys know the rest, number 14. And in second place, we had the Predator Kai Green. And I really wish I had better quality photos from this. But these are the photos that were posted on NPC News Online for the 2014 Mr. Olympia. But I'm pretty sure Kai Green would have looked a lot better in some of those comparisons. But as you guys know, Kai is a legend, even though he's been lingering the fact of him coming back to compete. But Kai was starting to blow out his midsection. That may be why he stopped competing. But I've always thought, man, what if Kai did like Roden? What if Kai Kai did like Jay Cutler? What if Kai just sat back and just kept going and not giving up? Could Kai have been number 14 instead of Sean Roden? If Kai just kept going and just kind of tried to age Phil out or waited until Phil was on his way out, like Jay Cutler did, do you guys believe if Kai Green kept competing, he would have eventually beat Phil Heath? Let me know in the comment section below. And winning this competition, and still, three-time Mr. Olympia, Phil the Gift Heath, who ended up winning 7 Sandals, man, wasn't able to tie Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman for 8. But taking 7, and honestly, not my favorite bodybuilder of all time overall, but the greatest bodybuilder of all time, in my opinion. As I said, my favorites are like Lee Priest, Sean Ray, and Lee Labrada. Probably shouldn't have said that with all the drama going on right now, but yeah. Phil Heath won his competition and claimed his third Sandow, man. Amazing physique, the gift. Look at the crab. Look at the back shots, man. Phil just undeniable. The greatest bodybuilder of all time, in my opinion. Maybe I should slow down on that before the Ronnie Coleman fans, the Dorian Yates, and the Lee Haney fans spam me in the comment section. But I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. I honestly really enjoyed getting to take a look back at the 2014 Mr. Olympia, man. This is what bodybuilding is about, man. This is bodybuilding. The quality of athletes, I feel, were a little better back then. But I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. Like, comment, and sub. I'm out.